Where's the play button? This is going to be a train wreck. All right, so you see this? See this little tray? This is a little tray that I saw somebody make online recently, and I thought it was pretty cute. And I was like, I think I want to make one. So I decided to make one. But in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make one. And what's fun about this is that you can make it in basically any size that you want. This was just how big the piece of scrap. Yeah. This is just how big my scrap fabric was. It just depends on how wide that you want it, or how tall that you want the walls, sides, walls, I guess, whatever you want to call it. But it's very easy and it doesn't take barely any materials at all, and that's also an excellent thing. If you know anything about me, you know that I love fabric scraps. That is my thing. I love using the little bits that people usually don't use, and I like to repurpose those and make those into things that are usable. So on this little fabric tray, we're going to go over how to do it. So if you want to learn how, follow along. I'll show you how. Also, we're going to be doing the video a little bit differently than normal. Usually I will do a voiceover and not show any of whatever's going on behind the scenes, but I thought that I would go ahead and just have like a little insert there on the video of what I'm doing. I thought it might be helpful. So anyway, okay, so first off, you are going to need 2 pieces of fabric for the outside and the inside. Now these can be alternating fabrics if you'd like, or they can be the same. Now we're also going to have 2 pieces of interfacing, and this is fusible interfacing that I'm using in this project. And so this is fusible interfacing. It has a side, you see it? You see it? I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a side that's bumpy. That is the adhesive side. You want to make sure that that is touching the wrong side of your fabric. Okay, so this is your good side of your fabric, and this is your, back side of your fabric. You want to make sure that the bumpy side and the back of your fabric, it goes like this. Otherwise, you're going to mess up your iron, because the way that it fuses is with heat. And if you put your iron onto the bumpy side, you're going to have a bad time. Just trust me that you're going to have a bad time. Okay, so for this particular project, my pieces of scrap were about, they were about 6 inches by 6 inches. And then you want to have your interfacing that is about a 1/2 inch smaller than that. So then once you fuse your interfacing to your fabric, you want to make sure that your fabric is nice and ironed and pressed and all that good stuff. You want everything to be nice and flat before you start fusing things together. But you're going to take your fabric and you're going to put your interfacing together just how I showed you before. And you're going to go ahead and press those and fuse them together. And you will see how the interfacing is just a little bit smaller than the fabric. And it will help whenever you sew your pieces together. We will get to that point later in the video. But you can kind of see there, you can see that the interfacing is on the wrong side, and you're going to do that on both sides of your fabric. We're fusing the fabric, fusing the fabric. Now you've got your 2 pieces, and look how nice and flat they are. Isn't that fun? Okay, so now that you've got everything fused together, you're going to be putting your fabrics right sides together, and we're going to be stitching them together. We're going to leave a space because we're going to turn everything right side out at the end. The space that I like to leave is about 3 inches. Yeah, you're going to stitch all the way around about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, once you sew everything together, you're going to clip your corners. And what that does is that helps you get this little like crispy, kind of crispy edge there. If you don't clip your corners, there's just going to be more bulk in there. You want to have them nice and crisp like that. So you come and you clip your corners and make sure you don't clip your stitches, because if you do, then you have to go back to your machine and fix it, and it just wastes time. Okay, so once you have clipped your corners, what we're going to do is we're going to turn our whole project where the right side is out. Now, what I am doing whenever I'm turning everything right side out, I have a chopstick that I'm using this time. I have a paintbrush that I cut the hardened bristles off of, but I just had a chopstick. The point is a little bit more sharp, but not like super sharp. You don't want to just poke right through it. But once you get everything turned right side out, we've got to close the hole that we turned everything around in. So you're gonna give it a little presseroo, like this little thing. It's fun. It's not my favorite. It acts really weird when you put water and it starts steaming, but I emptied out all the water and I don't use the steam, so works fine now. Anywho, you're gonna give a presseroo and make sure everything again is nice and flat. So once you've got everything pressed and ready to go, we've got to close that hole with the top stitch. Now around the edge of here, I did about 1/8 of an inch seam just to get it closed up, and I did kind of want it small. You want to make sure everything's closed up. You're going to do 1/8 of an inch all the way around the outside, and then you're going to come back and you're going to give it another little presseroo. I don't know why everything's a presseroo, but we're just going to roll with it. Now, this is the fun part. This is part of where the magic happens. We're not going to do a lot of math, but this is just one of those things to where if I wanted taller walls, I would measure that before I do my second top stitch. And you can kind of see right there is where we're going to fold it, and you're going to make the walls of your tray. So on my tray, I made mine. I initially was going to make mine I was going to do 1/2 inch, but I did 3/4 of an inch on my walls. So here I am, I'm marking 3/4 of an inch from the top seam, the top stitch that I did on the edge. I'm doing 3/4 of an inch away from that, and I'm measuring with my piece of chalk. I went and I sewed all the way around that, and then when I got done sewing, this is where the magic happens with your tray. Of course, I did most of it out of frame because I'm still learning that part of it, but what you're going to do is you're going to fold the corners, and you're basically going to stitch a 90-degree line from the inside to the outside. And you're going to, what I did was I used my clips and I clipped them into place. But yeah, then you're going to do your stitch, and you're just going to make a simple straight stitch on all 4 of those corners at a 90-degree angle. And when you come back and stitch your threads and get everything all cleaned up, I think this is actually where I did the pressing to kind of form the boxiness here. Yes, this is where I gave it another little last press. Yeah, I clipped all of my threads, and I had them in a different place before I had my tray, but now I have my tray, and that's where threads go. And after that, now you've got a tray. But I believe that you could probably make like a whole fleet of these things. You know, you could put, I don't know. I mean, it don't even have to be sewing related. You could put like, I don't know. I mean, the ideas are endless, honestly. But yeah, but I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all next week or sometime before that, maybe, if I'm feeling frisky. But thank you for watching. Boop or smash or like or whatever you do with that subscribe button if you want to see more. And I'll see y'all next time.